Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel where hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome to Sober Talk. We are back after my hiatus that I needed yesterday. It's good to see everyone that I know is probably going to show up tonight because a lot of folks do enjoy the reading of the big book. Um, which I need to get on more or less my audiobook thing. What's going on, Adam? We are going to be live after this on Save the World. We were looking at trying to get enough people together to do imposters. Um, but one of the main folks, hey, what's going on, Irish? Hey, how you doing, Raven? My goodness, all sorts of folks poking in today. So after this, we'll be live over playing Save the World tonight. I'm doing fantastic, doing very good. Simon, welcome to the live. So we're just, I'm going to be running Princess Faith through her missions. Oh, you made it Twine Peaks. Awesome news, Irish. That's not as easy as it sounds, you know. Doing fantastic. I feel a lot better after yesterday. I just needed a kind of a day to decompress. It happens from time to time where, I'll give you guys 411. For those that don't know, the Prince Magnum channel has had, quite a few folks that we've, made good friends with here on YouTube. Some really good content creators over here on YouTube. Not all of them in the video game community, but quite a few of them outside of the video game community here on YouTube. Nothing to be scared of. Nothing to be scared of. It's really not that scary. Hi, honey. So yesterday I had gotten news that another friend of mine here on YouTube, I don't think I ever heard this guy say anything bad, but basically he passed away too. So we've lost now. Hey, what's going on, Gravetaker? Good to see you, Hoss. So the Prince Magnum channel has now lost two amazing content creators. Yeah, we're YouTube right now. YouTube has lost two really important content creators, and one of them, the family has kind of asked us not to talk about it a whole lot. Kind of asked everyone to kind of show some respect. We will be doing a video, but one of her closest friends we're going to talk to first before we do it. I mean, we pretty well have it for the most part done, you know. Um, but it's one of those things I want to talk to a couple people first. Um, and the Prince Magnum channel has had this one of the people that we lost um, earlier in the month. We have had her on the channel. She was a guest. She did the Try Not to Laugh challenge with Cinnamon. So that should tell you who we lost. And it has sent a shockwave. Oh, yes, absolutely. It has sent a shockwave through the channel, through YouTube, through TikTok, and several places who really knew this gal. And then we just lost one that I know of yesterday. Um, Guy's name is John, and he went by Painkiller. And you want to talk about a really, really nice guy. I don't think I ever heard that guy say a crossword to anyone. As a matter of fact, he refused to get involved with drama between other channels. He refused. And you want to talk about an amazing content creator. It's been a while since him and I talked, and I mean, I always thought he was probably one of the nicest guys you'd ever meet. So, getting that news and just life in general wore me down yesterday, and I needed a moment. I needed a moment to kind of start trying to put myself back together. I didn't realize that I was in such a bad place. I didn't realize that I was in the place that I was in. And sometimes, that happens to us all. It doesn't matter, who you are, or what's going on in your life. Sometimes you hit a moment when you kind of need to take a moment and go, whoa. I got to take a look at me. I got to take a look at what's happening here. So that's kind of what happened yesterday. I needed a moment, and I was not in a good place. You know, I guess you could say I just needed that moment to go, I guess I don't feel okay. And I needed to decompress. And it didn't help that I had been in the editor probably close to about 8 hours. And I'm going to tell y'all something, okay? I could get my head in that editor pretty easy, pretty quickly. And some of it is really fun. A lot of it's fun. I've got a couple of them that I've got to get done. And they've been needing to get done for a minute. Um, hey, what's going on, Chairman? Good to see you. I've got a few of those videos. I got a couple of try not to laugh challenges with Cinnamon, with Kissable Demon, Natalie. She did one, and Princess Faye actually took the challenge, and Ian took the challenge again. So, oh, still here. Awesome, awesome. And if you guys aren't familiar what the Try Not to Laugh challenge with Cinnamon is, which we're not taking any challenges right now, what you have to do is you have to play a half an hour of Fortnite with Cinnamon, and anything that Cinnamon might say, you have to try not to laugh at. Oh, I understand, Chairman. I understand. I understand. Which I got to get ready to start. I finally got Discord open, so I'll be finally getting through that fiasco. Oh my God, I got so much stuff to get caught up on. Yeah, I want to take a look at that a little bit further. And we got to clean it up a little bit, make sure that, that we're in good shape. And I definitely want to do it because, I mean, we put a lot of time and effort into those spoilers. I think they're going to be fun. I think they're going to be fun. And for those that don't, over there, yeah. But tonight, the big focus for the next hour will definitely be about sobriety. For those that do not know, I am a sober member of Alcoholics Anonymous. And when I say sober member of Alcoholics, yeah, we'll get to all that soon enough. Um, but I'm a sober member of Alcoholics Anonymous. My sober date is February 7th, 2006. For those that don't feel like mathing today, I'm over 15 and a half years sober. As of my birthday, August the 7th, it's over 15 and a half years. So um, I've remained sober that entire time. And due to the pandemic, I don't get out much, which I might say about taking in a meeting. What's going on, J Dog? Welcome to the live stream. So tonight, we're going to crack open the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and we're definitely going to dive in head first, boom, into sobriety. I know right now our dear friend Gamerian is not with us tonight because he is wiped out. He might, if he is, he's in the background, lurky turkey. Absolutely amazing content creator. He usually is here to ask all the questions that most of you uh, have on your mind, but maybe you're afraid to ask. He usually will ask those. And I told him I expect him to. I expect him to. When in doubt, ask those questions. Because a lot of folks, you'll hear something. You got to understand that the big book here has been written in a form of English. Give you guys an idea, a little bit of history. The original transcripts were laid into work around 1938, 1939. It came into production around 1939, 1940 is when it began, when it first came into print. So a lot of it is written in a style of English that, even though it's really not a lot of time, enough time has passed that certain words aren't used the same way. And give you guys an example. I don't, if you ever hear me talk about the homosexual community or the LGBTQIA plus community, you never hear me. I don't like to use the word gay because we're using it wrong. If you go all the way back to even as early as the 1950s, the word gay actually meant happy. Nowadays, most people probably can't even sit through the Flintstones theme song without cracking up. If you don't know what I mean, take a look at it. You'll hear the term gay old time. And most people, yeah, we use it wrong. So, that should give you an idea. So the last we left off on We Agnostics, we were on page 50, and we are on our way to page 57. We're going to try to get through as much of this as possible tonight, and get as close to 58 as we possibly can. That depends in this case. So let's kick this off. We are at the bottom of page 50. For those who have a Alcoholics Anonymous book like this, you're welcome to follow along. Yeah, bottom paragraph, page 50. Here are thousands of men and women, worldly indeed. They flatly declare that since they have come to believe in a power greater than themselves, to take a certain attitude towards that power and to do certain simple things, there has been a revolutionary change in their way of living and thinking. In the face of collapse and despair, in the face of total failure of their human resources, they found a new power, peace, happiness, and sense of direction flowed into them. This happened soon after they were wholeheartedly met a few simple requirements. Once confused and baffled by the seeming futility of existence, they show the underlying reasons they were making heavy going of life. Leaving aside the drink question, they tell why living was so unsatisfactory. To show how the change came over them, when many hundreds of people were able to say that the consciousness of the presence of God is today the most important fact of their lives, they present a powerful reason why no one should have faith. This world of ours has made more material progress in the last century than all the millenniums which went before. Almost everyone knows the reason. Students of ancient history tell us that the intellect of men in those days were equal to those to the best of today. Yet in ancient time, material progress was painfully slow. The spirit of modern science, inquiry, research, and invention was almost unknown. The realm of the material, men's minds were fettered by superstition, tradition, and all sorts of fixed ideas. Some of these contemporaries of Columbus thought a round world preposterous, which we even know different than that too. Others came near putting Galileo to death for his astronomical heresies. We asked ourselves this: are not some of us just as biased and unreasonable as those about the realm of the spirit as were in the ancient times about the realm of the material? Even in the present century, new American newspapers were afraid to print the account of the Wright brothers' first success flight at Kitty Hawk. Had not all the efforts at the flight failed before? Had not all the efforts at flight failed before? Did not Professor Langley's flying machine go to the bottom of the Potomac River? This was not. It was not true that the best mathematical minds had proven man could never fly. Had not people said God had reserved that privilege to birds? Only 30 years later, the conquest of air was almost an old story, and airplane travel was in full swing. Stop there for just a second and see how many people are righty. See a grand total of 5 likes. Be sure to smash that like button if you're enjoying the content. We're going to continue on. No questions to worry about. But in most fields of our generations had witnessed a complete liberation of our thinking. Show any longshore man as Sunday supplement describing a proposal to explore the moon by means of a rocket, and he will say, I'll bet they do it. Maybe not so long either. Let me take a moment again. This particular segment of the Big Book has been, for the most part, unchanged since its printing in 1939. Okay, so at the time that this was being printed, we had not even considered stepping foot on the moon, if you will. NASA really wasn't a thing yet. So for those who enjoy a little bit of history, we hadn't made it to the moon yet. Okay, by the time that the original transcripts of this book were being written, that wasn't until 1969 that we made it to the moon. Neil Armstrong stepped off and said that famous line. We hadn't made it yet. Okay, so if you're wondering why it said that, that's why. Okay, we hadn't made it to the moon yet. So a little bit of history there. So if you're wondering about that line, now you know. And as G.I. Joe would say, knowing is half the battle. Alrighty. It is not our age characterized by the ease of which we discard old ideas for new, by the complete readiness which we throw away the theory or the gadget which does not work for something new which does. We had to ask ourselves why we shouldn't apply our human problems with the same readiness to change our point of view. We were having, real quick, what I'm about to read now, Sober Man refers to as the drinking promises, okay? And what do I mean by the drinking promises? If you get into Alcoholics Anonymous, you get into sobriety, basically what I'm about to read, he considers what will happen to you if you pick up again, okay? If you relapse, all right? So this is it. We were having trouble with personal relationships. We couldn't control our emotional natures. We were prey to misery and depression. We couldn't make a living. We had a feeling of uselessness. We were full of fear. We were unhappy. We couldn't seem to be of real help to other people. That's what he calls the drinking promises. Was not our basic solution, the bedevilments, more important than whether we should see newsreels of lunar flight? Of course it was. When we saw others solve their problems by a simple reliance upon the spirit of the universe, we had to stop doubting the power of God. Our ideas did not work, but the God idea did. The Wright brothers' almost childish faith that they could build a machine which could fly was the mainspring of their accomplishment. Without that, nothing could have happened. We agnostics and atheists were sticking to the idea that self-sufficiency would solve our problems. When others showed us that God's sufficiency worked with them, we began to feel like those who insisted the Wright brothers would never fly. Logic is great stuff. We liked it. We still like it. It is not by chance that we were given the power to reason, to examine the evidence of our senses. Oh, thank you so much, Raven. Where were we? Logic is great stuff. We liked it. We still like it. It is not by chance we were given the power to reason, to examine the evidence of our senses, and to draw conclusions. That is of one man's magnificent attributes. We agnostically inclined, we would not feel satisfied with a purpose which does not lend itself to reasonable approach and interpretation. Hence, we are at pains to tell why we think our present faith is reasonable, why we think it more sane and logical to believe than not to believe. We say to our former thinking was soft and mushy when we threw aside our hands and said, we don't know. Well, hello there, Queen Bee. We are reading the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, the book that helped me get sober. Let me stop there for just a moment. What they're talking about is something that I think just hanging out, just chilling out, reading the big book, sharing what I learned from this book that helps me stay sober. Okay? It helps me stay sober. It helps me out a lot. I need to take a moment. After a little while, it's very hard to read aloud, and I have to take a moment. And that's why we only go for about it. Oh, you've seen that, huh? Yeah, I took a moment. I took a moment off. I know y'all, sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes you got to do that. I work hard, but um, you know, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. All right. Let's stop for a moment and honestly, let me stop for a moment and I guess you could say, have a sober chat, okay? A sober chat for a moment. Yesterday, I had gotten bad news, okay? Now, for those that don't know, y'all remember, basically yesterday, we got bad news that, that's because we're changing things around. Changing things around here at home, here at Prince Magnum Channel HQ. We're changing things around a little bit. Might even notice a few things here in the bedroom. That's because we're getting ready to swap the office in the bedroom, um, for good reason. Okay, we're just swapping things around. The modem is in here. Princess Bay wants more quieter space, so it's just the way it is. So the kitty blanket is in where the office is right now, and soon the office will be in here. Don't worry, everything's okay. But if you, we're going to stop there for a little bit, and I'm going to kind of talk about some stuff that maybe you guys just need to hear. Okay. Um, on this channel, there has been 3 try not to laugh challenges with cinnamon. The last one was probably absolutely hilarious. And the person who took that challenge passed away earlier this month. Most people don't realize that. I mean, she had been on a reality TV show on TLC, and really, honestly, and truthfully, I didn't know all that much about her. Before I met her, I just knew that she had gone through a lot of crazy stuff and was working to get her health right and everything. Well, she passed away. The family asked that a lot of us content creators not say a whole lot, but I guess you could say because of the impact she had on this channel, we're going to be reaching out to some loved ones and saying, look, she made an impact on us, and for all the right reasons. So we lost her earlier this month. She just, she passed on. And yesterday I was talking to our friend Miss Kelly, the Coffee Queen, and a guy that we weren't super close to, a guy who went by the name here on YouTube as Painkiller. He had a more formal name for his channel. His real name is John. Absolutely fantastic. Now it's not Jammin' John. Jammin' John is off, Sketch Squad TV. He's off doing his own thing right now, and he's doing okay. Okay, but there was another one named Painkiller. He passed away. Well, I got the news of his passing yesterday, and we weren't super close, but he was one that I genuinely admired. And one of the things I learned from him was he never got involved in channel drama. And what do I mean by channel drama? If another channel was beefing with another channel, he basically left it alone. He didn't get involved, and he always managed to, kind of stay out of it. Friends all around him might be beefing, you know, here on YouTube, but he never ever got involved with the drama. And if somebody was saying something bad about somebody, he basically kind of, he would he really went out. He didn't necessarily go out of his way, but he would oftentimes say something to kind of make you think maybe you're being a little too hard on him. So you want to talk about a fantastic person. As a matter of fact, on more than one occasion, I'd uh, heard a couple of other YouTubers kind of beefing between each other, and because of his personality, that beef kind of fell to the wayside. They really couldn't get him to swing one way or the other, in their favor, and basically it was just kind of dropped. Well, we lost him, and I got the news of it yesterday, and it kind of hit because he did teach. He did kind of teach that don't get involved, don't get involved, keep your nose out of it, stay out of the drama. And there are some channels here on YouTube that are built on drama. That's what they do. They live for the drama. And looking at guys like Painkiller John, who basically taught to stay out of that, I learned, I mean, it was one of those things I already kind of knew to do, but seeing it in action, I seen how its practice was very practical. So that news hit me below the belt. And on top of that, I'll be absolutely honest with y'all. I was not in a good place in my head, and I didn't realize it getting up yesterday morning. I was not in a good place. I don't know why. But like everybody out there, we all got nuts and bolts that continually need to be tightened down. That's just part of mental health, okay? And I am no exception to that rule. So I was not in a good place the moment I woke up, no matter what I did, okay? So I was mentally just exhausted. And I did what I normally do when I'm not in a good place like that. I threw myself into what I love doing. I love working, okay? And I worked very hard on the channel yesterday. Got a lot of stuff taken care of. It's looking good for tomorrow. Got lots of stuff lined up, ready to go, and I've got videos ready to edit. Unfortunately, I finally had to put it down yesterday, and I'm like, I am not in a good place. I wanted to live stream yesterday, but I wasn't in a good place, and I didn't feel that I could bring you guys the live content that you guys deserve. So I did the smart thing. I took the day off. And I know a lot of you out there, you know, a lot of you out there were like, hey, man, you do it. You take a moment. And I talked to Kelly, you know, and we talked about it a good while on Messenger yesterday, trying to kind of, get through what was eating our lunch. Kelly, it was kind of like, there's been some bad things that kind of happened with another YouTuber, and just some stuff like that, and it just, yeah, it was kind of hard on everybody. And then the passing of our dear friend before, and it was just like, what, I got to take a moment. I've got to take a moment, and that's really what it boiled down to. And I even got up today and I wasn't even feeling 100%. I still wasn't feeling quite right. Like maybe just a little bit off. And stuck to it, and I'm okay. I'm okay. It just seems like I don't know what it took. but I'm okay. All right. I feel okay. I feel content. I don't know what it was, um, you know, but I feel okay, you know. And sometimes this happens to us all. It doesn't have to always be mental illness, okay? It doesn't have to be some sort of addiction. It doesn't have to be any of those things, okay? The thing of it is sometimes it doesn't matter who you are. Sometimes you just don't feel okay. And it's okay to not feel okay. All right. And, in sober talk, I'm, I'm reminded to be honest and to tell you guys what's happening. And yesterday, I did not feel okay. Coming into today, I did not feel okay. How do I feel right now? I feel pretty damn good. So good, in fact, that when we climb on to save the world later on, I'm looking forward to it. I want to, Princess Faye and I are going to run hard, get a lot of her missions done because I want to get her to Twine Peaks with the rest of us because we're on that journey to take on the mythic Storm King. And I'm looking forward to that because I would like to put together, a couple of us have talked about putting together our own raid team for that. And I like hanging out with you guys. All right. I have a lot of fun. Sometimes the bright spot is hanging out with you guys. Even though we don't get to see each other face to face, hanging out with you guys is a lot of fun. And that's the bright spot. Come here. Hang on a second. Sure. Hang on a second here. Come here. Oh, don't you run off. Someone wants to see you. There you go. I know who wanted to see you. I'll put you down in a second. I know. You're already getting tired of me. Okay, sweetie. She don't like to be held too long. Yeah, I knew you wanted to see it. Yeah, well, I'll be glad to take a hand. We're gonna keep it kind of a quiet, closed lobby tonight. Uh, yeah, her and Galaxy get along just fine now. They're just splendid. But yeah, tonight I guess you could say, coming into tonight, we're gonna keep it kind of a quiet, kind of a chill stream tonight for Save the World. We're gonna have a lot of fun. It's gonna be a great time. Um, and you know, we're gonna keep it, pretty tight knit group tonight. We're gonna just kind of keep it subtle, and we'll probably stream for about an hour or two. Princess Faye and I have got to sit down and kind of go over some stuff. Y'all got to understand, Prince Magnum can edit a video, and I could actually build a web page. Everybody else can't, so I have to have help dealing with websites because most everyone has switched over to online stuff. So I have to have help navigating some of these websites because, well, none of them know how to do a website. Okay, none of them. I could do a better job. I'm not kidding you. I've done it before. Back in the old days of GeoCities and Angel Fire web pages, yeah, I knew how to do that stuff. And I was actually getting to where I was doing frames, learning how to write JavaScript. Yeah, I'm actually that good. Most of y'all now have your jaws on the floor. What? Isn't that right, Zelda? Want to come over and say hi again? Or are you too busy licking your paws? She's gotten big, hasn't she? Queen Bee right now is going, oh, yep. That y'all know, okay? I mean, we love our cats. I can tell you right now. No, she's still the baby. Yep. Not, nah, she's not exactly a baby anymore. Not exactly a baby anymore. I'll have to load a video for you where I had her playing. Yeah, not exactly a baby anymore. She's actually more along the lines of a older adult, getting closer to her 20s if you want to get technical. Right now, you're telling me, hush, don't you say nothing. Oh, yeah. You just asked that, silly. So, yeah, that's what's going on with the job thing. So, but yes, yesterday I just, you know, that and I also needed a moment, kind of away from the workplace. I'm going to tell y'all the honest goodness truth. The last seven, near 7 years with McDonald's, um, I needed a moment. They, it's going to be hard for me to trust boss types again for a minute because the one I worked for and that followed me to the other location, I I'll be honest with you, they're going to have a hell of a time with me because I mean, when you can, you know, it was more than they worked me hard. Um, this woman is abusive to people, and most people won't work for her anymore. As a matter of fact, before I left, there had been talk that the next shift that she worked, the entire crew was talking about walking out, just flat walking out and leaving her the store. And they were not going to come back to work until she was fired. There was already talk of that. And someone looked at me and said, "Do you know how to organize something like that?" I said, "Don't even get me involved." I said, "If you guys do it, I'll go with you, but that's it. You guys are on your own." Yeah. So it gotten to that point. Um, I haven't even talked to, yeah, she was one of the ones that a lot of folks did not like working for. They didn't want her. They didn't want her there. A lot of folks did not want her there. And I was one of them. I looked right at the store man. The store manager was amazing, and I looked at her and said, "I said, you expect me to put up with this?" Yeah, she basically followed me because it was out how bad she was. Guys, I was abused by it. Basically, you can be abused on the job, and that's what it boiled down to. And on a couple of occasions, I actually looked at her and, yeah, I looked right at her and said, "Don't you talk to me like that. You're not my wife." And it wasn't like a long, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. It wasn't like, but basically she would talk, talk to me um, a wife who was kind of aggravated with her husband, not like a boss that was aggravated with an employee. And I mean, I looked right at her and said, "Don't talk to me like that. You are not my wife. You don't have permission to do that." And she kind of thought about what, and on her heels, I said, and I told her one day, the second time, I said, "You are getting into weird territory. You are talking to me like I'm your husband, and you are not my wife. Let's get this clear. This is now the second time I've had to say this. Okay? I don't know where you get this idea that it's okay to talk to me like that, but no, no." Yeah. So kind of dealing with that environment, and she always complained about problems. Everyone knew it, but the owner operators kind of let it lie. I don't know why. I always. What's going on, Ron? Ron, did you get the link I sent you? I sent you a link, a very important one. I sent you a very important one. I don't know if you got it. It was I sent it to you um I sent it to you over on TikTok. Sent a direct message to you. It was a YouTube link. A try not to laugh challenge with cinnamon. I dug up the link yesterday. You know who it's for. I know you know who it's for. I'm gonna go do something. I know I probably should, and I'm gonna go have a cigarette. I need a cigarette. Oh, McDonald's. Here. I was gonna say, pause it for a second. I'm sneaking outside, honey. Yeah. Um, I think you know who it is, but I got you. I grabbed the link. And Ron, if you ever want the original footage, kind of uncut, oh, anytime. Ron, if you ever decide you want the original footage, you holler at me, okay? We will get it to you because I know how close you two were. All right, you know the original footage. Yeah, I still have it, uncut, untouched, all the original footage. So if you want it, it is yours. Okay, I will copy it to a flash drive. Yeah, and I was just talking about that a while ago. How we just, we just lost Painkiller, and earlier this month, uh, which I got to get in touch with you. I got to talk to you later because you're actually who I need to talk to. So you just showed up at the right time. Perfect, perfect. I got to talk to you because we got something we want to do, but kind of need everyone else's permission. Yeah, yeah, he passed. Kelly knows a little bit more of the details. But yeah, I was kind of shook up by that. I mean, I wasn't super close to him, but he was one of those creators that kind of taught you a lot just by standing back and watching him. And he taught me how to stay out of the drama between, when other channels are. I don't think it was the same time. I just found out about it yesterday. Kelly just found out about it not too long before that. So I don't know exactly when. I just know he did. Which Ron just kind of said it. Folks, I'll just go ahead and just say it. For those that remember the Try Not to Laugh challenge with Cinnamon, Gina, the host of GG Games, yeah, the host of GG Games, who was also one of the main people that kind of helped push Cinnamon to all of you. She passed. I don't know. I knew that she'd been on a reality show on TLC, but that's all I knew. I'd never seen the episode, didn't know anything about it. Shoot, I'm still learning what happened there, and I've still never seen the episode. And from what I understand, I probably don't want to. It just pissed me off. So between the news of Painkiller and the news of Gina passing, two fantastic content creators, people that we could genuinely look up to. They have moved on. They have, I guess you could say, they've been promoted. They've been given a promotion. They've been promoted from this world, taken to another, and now we look to them as our ancestors. They've been given a promotion. So now in our times of when we need guidance, yeah, Ron, it's hard right now. It seems like some of the best of us out there, some really awesome creators are being taken from us, and Gina was one of them. That, you know, Gina was one that helped push Cinnamon to the masses. She really did help push the character, and because of that today, and I need to really kind of put this out there, because of Gina and a few key people like her, Cinnamon has now become a rallying point, not just here on YouTube, but over on TikTok for the LGBTQIA plus community. It's also helped some women get over body shame. It's also helped a lot of folks be comfortable with themselves. The character of Cinnamon has now been reaching the masses at an exponential rate, just because of not just YouTube, but TikTok as well. So, because Gina was one of the many who pushed the character indirectly, that woman has probably saved more lives than she could ever possibly imagine. And is now another piece of the mosaic in dear old Prince Magnum's story of not just here on YouTube, but in sobriety in general. Because there'd been a few times that her and I'd even had talks, kind of when, it was just us and we were talking, and, I didn't know a whole lot of her story. She didn't talk about a whole lot of things prior to that moment. She did learn. From what I do definitely will always remember, she knew how to live in the moment. She knew how to live in that moment. And because of that, I genuinely admired her. She taught me a great deal about living in the moment. And she taught me a great deal about really not caring what other people thought. I mean, I already had that concept down. I already knew it, but through her, I learned from experience, from her experience of really, who gives a crap what other people think. So I'd learned, it's not always just members of AA or family members or things like that. Sometimes it's in the most different places you would ever imagine. And that Try Not to Laugh challenge, I will tell you all that I watched it yesterday and I laughed so hard, and I remembered. I remembered her because for what she taught us, and we had a good time. I know after that, Gina herself had also told me every time we talked, she said, whenever I'm feeling down, I watch that video and I always feel good again. I have such a good laugh, and I forget what's bothering me. So we always, we stayed in contact for a while, but then I knew she'd gotten sick. And then we kind of lost touch, But I know Ron stayed in contact with her. And I know you two were really close. So between Painkiller and Gina and just life in general having me down yesterday, I took the day off. And I know y'all were like, yeah, you come back and you do your work whole and hearted, just... that sort of thing. But yeah. So it was tough yesterday, and I needed a moment. It was just too much. It was just too much for me. But I'm okay today. I'm okay. As a matter of fact, right after this stream, we're gonna go live. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna go live on Save the World. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna run Princess Faith through her missions. Y'all are welcome to hang out with us, Wang Chung. We're just gonna have kind of a chill, relaxing stream. Playing video games with, my lovely, beautiful wife. We may not always see eye to eye, but you know what? I love her, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters, And it even looks like it might even rain tonight. We could use it. It's been pretty hot, so we need it, So that's kind of what's happened. That's why we stopped earlier, because a lot of y'all, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm okay now. I just needed a moment. And I will even confess, this morning when I got up, I still wasn't feeling too good. I was not in a good place. And from time to time, that's just part of life. That's part of life for me. Yeah, I'm doing great. I mean, I feel okay. I just needed a moment to breathe, I guess you could say. So, Ron, the link that I sent you, yeah, everybody needs a moment, and that was mine. So, Ron, the link I sent you was for Gina's video, and you'll want that link. Copy paste it, whatever you need to do, you know. But along with that, if you want the original footage, I will copy it. I'll send it to you, whatever you need. Okay, it's yeah. He was talking about that earlier, Bad. Oh no, my pleasure, my pleasure. Um, you know, I'm going to tell you, I will miss her in this lifetime, but I know she's waiting for us in the next lifetime, if you will, beyond this scope. She's been promoted to one of our ancestors, and in times of need, we can turn to her now and to give us guidance, because that's what the spirits of the universe want us to do. They want us to trust our ancestors. They want us to trust. She's been promoted to being our ancestor now, one of our ancestors. And our ancestors, through the life that they had here, can still continue to teach us. This is a Native American thing. And this is part of my spirituality that helps me stay sober in Alcoholics Anonymous. So we can turn to our loved ones that are not here with us anymore. We can still turn to them and ask us for guidance. And they can teach us. They can teach us from where they're at through their own life experiences how to live life and how to continue to turn to the spirits of the earth, the gods of our understanding, whatever the cases may be, so they can continue to teach us long after they're not here anymore. So there will be times that I'll probably even ask, reach out, what would you do right about now? What would the gods have me do right now? You, you are my ear. What would you have us do? So she's been promoted. I'm sad that she's gone from here, and it hit hard. The reality hit hard yesterday. But now, I mean, I'm just, you know, that's where I sit with it. And I think, Ron, I hope maybe this helps you too, because I know this has been really, this, it's one of those conversations you and I need to have alone. I've got a funny feeling that you and I probably now got more in common than ever before. Because I know that look. So, that is where we sit tonight. We've had a lot of loss just in the month of August. But we're all here. I'm still sober. I am rocking and rolling. Sobriety has been good. It has taught me a lot. It doesn't mean that I'm perfect. It doesn't mean that I'm white as snow. It just means that I have a little bit more of a grasp than I did before. And if there's one thing I've learned in sobriety, you always hear, I'll tell you a true story. Was in an AA meeting, and this old timer was going on, some of y'all don't can't manage life. Your life's still unmanageable. And I mean, he was going off. Finally, it came time for me. I said, when I got to Alcoholics Anonymous, my life was unmanageable too. Just like all of you. But I've learned through all of you and through sobriety, we don't manage life. We just live it. So I encourage all of you to live life with me, to just live it. We don't manage it. We just live it. And that's where we're at today. We just live it. So I know for a lot of us, the news of the passing of a couple of great content creators, you know, honestly and truthfully, life does suck, but if life didn't suck, we'd fall off the earth. You know, that's just how it is. If life didn't suck, we would fall off the earth. So just take that to heart. you know. But you know what? If we continue to keep putting one foot in front of the other, breathe in, breathe out, don't drink, don't drug, and we don't die, we're doing all right. And that's just something an old timer in AA said to all of us. How do you become an old timer in AA? You don't drink, you don't drug, and you don't die. You keep breathing in and out, put one foot in front of the other. That's how you become an old timer in AA. It's that simple. But I'm your standard alcoholic. And in reality, I will take the most simplest things and complicate it. That's why I need all of you out there and other, and members of Alcoholics Anonymous to keep me on track. So that's where we're at. So I hope all of you got a little something out of it. We talked about what was hurting, and we maybe got through some things tonight. And you all got to understand that despite sometimes the high pedestal some people put me on, the reality of it all is I'm still human too. I still hurt like all of you. I still go through what I go through. But at day's end, I'm still doing it. I'm still sober. Sober man once told me a long time ago, the whole day could blow up in your face, but if you can at least sit on the edge of your bed or wherever you're at the end of the day and say, well, at least I didn't pick up a drink today. It wasn't a bad day. It was still a successful day. And that was something that Sober Man taught me a long time ago. So we're getting ready to finish out the stream. This stream. In about 10 to 20 minutes after this stream ends, we will be live on Save the World. It is going to be kind of a closed lobby, but we're going to keep it as chill of a stream as we possibly can. And we're going to have a good time tonight. We're going to have a lot of fun. But we're going to get out there. We're going to grind on Princess Faye's missions. And we're going to try to get her as close to Twine Peaks as possible. At some point, I need to get back onto Ventures and finish out because I'm like almost to level 50. And I need those superchargers. So as we begin to wind down, again, I want to thank every last one of you for continuing to be here for me. Without you guys, number one, I can't do this alone. I need all of you to continue to help me stay sober. But along with that, without all of you guys, I'm just some knucklehead sitting here on camera. All of you guys make me who I am. So it's all of you that deserve the credit. And if any of y'all ever accuse me of being a hero, remember, as you're pointing your finger at me, trying to call me a hero, there's like 3 of your own fingers pointing back at you, saying you're just as much for being here and helping me stay sober. And any of y'all forget that either. But that brings us to a good stopping point for the evening. In Sober Talk, we like to let out in a very special way. And that special way goes a little something like this. At day's end, I hope all of you need me as much as I need you. And for all of you out there, no matter what's going on in your life at this very moment, if no one out there has told you that they love you today, Prince Magnum does. God bless you and have a happy 24. Thank you.